welcome back. We are doing a Chapter 8 review right now. If you're coming back, there have been definitely a few videos. Video number 1 covered all the strategies without looking at the study guide itself. Video number 2 tackled questions 1 through 6. Video number 3 tackled questions 7, 8, and 9. And here we are, friends. Video number 4. Okay, so let's look. We have our strategy down, right? Let's look at question number 10 on our study guide. We're almost done. It only goes up to 18. Cool. Miss Miller's just taking her sweet time. So let's look at this beautiful question. So first of all, there's no GCF. There's no letter or number all pieces have in common. It's definitely not a binomial, so we can't do a difference of perfect squares because that's only for binomials. It's definitely a trinomial. 1, 2, 3 parts. So we're in trinomial. Do I see a perfect square in the front and the back? No, 24 is not a perfect square. It's not on my beautiful list. 25, but not 24. So no, we don't have that. Okay, well let's look if our front number is 1. Ooh, our front number is 1. By the way, they call this A, B, C. And it's the number itself. So A would be considered 1, B would be considered negative 25, and C is positive 24, in case you were curious. Okay, so since the front value is 1, it looks like it's one of these types of trinomials. And that's where I kind of consider this like you're solving a crime, right? When I grew up, my mother was a police officer. So she would come home from her job with some pretty wild stories as a kid, and I would listen to them all, and I was captivated and fearful all at the same time because she was a single mom, so I was the person she shared with, so it was a lot. But I'm going to make this like crime solving. So let's look at this first one. I'm going to scooch it down a little bit. Okay. So when solving a trinomial where the front number is 1, this is our strategy. We're solving a crime. First thing I do is I put an M over the last number. And I ask myself, what are all the numbers that you can think of that multiply to give you 24? And then I list them to the side. So maybe you're at a crime scene and you're looking at the evidence of the crime. And you know one piece of evidence said whoever did this crime multiplies to give you 24. And you're like, these are all the people that did it. Well, all of them couldn't have done the crime. You have to match with all the evidence, right? That's one piece of evidence in this crime scene. We know that whoever did it multiplies to give me 24. It's either those two, those two, those two, or those two. We just don't know which two. But there's another piece of evidence up here that we could use to help us. So we're looking for two numbers that multiply to give us 24, and the same two numbers add to give us 25, but not just any 25, a negative 25. Okay, so let's review. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to give me 24. Check. The same two numbers need to add to give me 25. Let's see. You add to give me 10, you're not it. You add to give me an 11, you're not it. You add to give me 14, not it. I think I found the suspects, right? Let's see if they match this evidence. Do those two numbers multiply to give me 24? Check. Do those two numbers add to give me some version of 25? I think we found it, right? So what multiplies to give me 24 that also adds to give me 25? So I like to throw my X in there. I know it's going to be 24 and 1. But signs matter here. So what are our signs going to be? We only have 3 options. It's either plus plus, minus minus, or mixed. And when it's mixed, it's, in this situation, you got to be careful, okay? So when it's negative first and then a positive, 100% of the time it's going to be a double negative. There's rules that you can memorize. So one of the rules is when it's plus plus, you end with a plus plus. When it's negative first and then a plus, it's always double negative. Those two are the easy ones. The ones that are a little bit more complex is when it's positive first and then a negative, or a double negative. That's indicative of mixed signs. And the order in which you put your numbers matters, okay? So that's important. So let's make sure this works. I can do a quick check. I don't want you to just assume I got it right. We don't assume in math. What the heck are... Okay, we have x squared minus 25x plus 24. If you had 24 negatives and you got one more negative, you have 25 negatives. Does that match my original? It surely does. Cool. Nice. Let's look at question number 11. So I'm going to erase this and see what we got. Okay, number 11. Cool. Good question. Okay. So I can see this is not a GCF. There's no GCF. It's not a binomial. It's definitely a trinomial. It's not a perfect square trinomial because 24 is not on my poster. It has to be where the a value is 1, that invisible number in the front. First thing I'd like to do is throw this pen away. That's the first thing I'd like to do. Oh, I just made it in the trash can. That's pretty far away. Okay, no one's impressed. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to set up my parentheses. I'm going to look at the crime scene, right? There's 2 bits of evidence in every crime scene, aka every math problem here. I'm looking for things that multiply to give me 24, just like that last question. Now, these are all the people you could haul down to the police station and say they did it, but that's not true. It doesn't match all the evidence, right? So we know it matches the 24 part. So I'm looking for numbers that multiply to give me 24. The next piece of evidence is pretty crucial. The same 2 numbers must subtract to give me 10. So I'm thinking of 2 numbers that multiply to give me 24, and the same 2 numbers subtract to give me a positive 10. Who am I? I know that part. These subtract to give me 23. These subtract to give me 2. These subtract to give me 5. I found it. I found the people who committed the crime. Let's make sure they match the evidence. Do those 2 numbers multiply to give me 24? Check. Do those 2 numbers subtract to give me a 10? They do. So I know it's 2 and 12, but what are my signs? And that's where it gets to be a little tricky. We know it's going to be mixed signs because of plus minus. We've got our mixed signs, but who goes with the plus and who goes with the minus? Yeah. Now, if you did it this way, here's a quick way to check. Do those 2 numbers multiply to give me that negative 24 at the end? Check. Do those 2 same numbers add to give me a positive 10 in the middle? No, they give me a negative 10 because 2 go back 12 and the number line is negative 10, not a positive 10. So a quick adjustment, we now know that our 12 is positive and our 2 would be negative. Quick check, multiply to give me the last one, add to give me the middle. Cool. Let's try the next question. Question 12. Okay, so we're going to do this a little bit faster. So if you want to pause the video and do the next 4, because I'm going to get up through 15, you're welcome to. Okay, let's check. Visual learners. Put that 1 in so your brain can see it. I'm thinking of 2 numbers that multiply to give me 12, and the same 2 numbers subtract to give me 1. Who am I going to haul down to the police station because it matches the evidence? Again, I'm thinking of 2 numbers that multiply to give me 12. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Which one of those options subtracts to give me a 1? 3 and 4. You can put the 3 and 4 wherever you want as long as they have the correct sign with them. The 3 is going to be negative and the 4 is going to be positive. Let's check. Do these 2 numbers multiply to give me negative 12? They do. Do these same 2 numbers add to give me a positive 1? They also do, because 4 take away 3 is 1. Cool. Let's go to the next question. Question 13. Question 13. Let's solve this crime. I'm thinking of numbers that multiply to give me 30. I'm going to list them so we can see them. Ooh, lots of choices for 30. So who multiplies to give me 30 and also subtracts to give me 13? Well, you subtract to give me 1. You subtract to give me 7. You subtract to give me 29. I think I found who did it. It's 2 and 15. So again, I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to give me 30, that subtract to give me a 13, but not just any 13, a negative 13. And again, you could put the 15 first and the 2 second as you want. But regardless of where you put that 15, he's the negative guy, and the 2 is the positive guy. Double check. Do those two numbers multiply to give me negative 30? Check. Do those two same numbers add to give me negative 13? Also check. Let's check 14 and 15. And again, if you haven't paused the video to try these yourself, you really should. Right? Okie dokie. I'm thinking of numbers that multiply to give me 20. And kids get a multiplication chart. Don't hesitate to write down your facts to see what you see. I'm looking for numbers that multiply to give me 20 that also subtract to give me 8. Those are the only two numbers that multiply to give you 20 and subtract to give you 8. So throw your letter in there, throw your numbers in there, and you know you're going to have mixed signs, right? You know you're going to have mixed. One's going to be a plus and one's going to be a minus. And that has to be what it is. These two numbers multiply to give me negative 20. These two same numbers add to give me negative 8. Nice. And the last one, and we're going to end this 4th video, and you can come back for the 5th video for the last 3 questions. Visual learners, love you. Put that one in so your brain can see it. I'm looking for numbers that multiply to give me 20. The same two numbers must subtract to give me a 1, but not just any 1, a negative 1. I'm thinking of two numbers that multiply to give me 20. 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 5 and 4. Which one of those options subtracts to give me 1? 5 and 4. Yeah. You could also say x plus 4 and x minus 5. It doesn't matter. As long as the 5 is negative and the 4 is positive, order doesn't really matter, okay? And you could check it. Do these two multiply to give you negative 20? Check. Do these two numbers combine to give you negative 1? They also do. Come back for the last video. See you. Bye.